Hey guys, welcome to Apex Acres. I'm Amy, and today is a beautiful and sunny Saturday, so we've got a lot going on. Come along with us. We have some baby chicks coming in the next week that we had ordered from just our local feed store, Rural King. And we should be getting 50 meat birds and then an assortment of, I think, another 30 laying hens. Also, we have some silky eggs in the incubator, and they will be hatching out the end of next week. So we need to make sure that we get all our brooders ready so that we have a place to put them. I'm notorious for waiting till the last minute, so this year I plan to be ahead of the game and actually get my brooders ready ahead of time so that when we get them here, all we have to do is just put them right into the brooder. This is our chicken tractor, and the cool thing about it, as I trip over something on the ground, is that it has a lid that lifts up. Once we drop the lid down, this is on wheels, so they can brood in here when they're little. We'll close this door over here and just have the heat lamps and their feeders in here with pine shavings. When they get bigger and are old enough to start going outside, we can lift this door, and then they have an enclosed run area that we can move around the yard, and they have access to fresh grass the whole time as we are raising them. Now, our meat birds and layer hens will start out together, but the meat birds start to get kind of aggressive. As they get bigger, they will be more demanding about food than the layer hens will, and they'll push the layer hens away from the feeders. So the laying hens will then, the chicks that'll be laying hens will then move into our chicken coop and have their own area roped off from the bigger hens, and the meat birds will stay here in the chicken tractor. Our silkies have their own little coop that we started a couple years ago and just didn't finish because we had tried to start silkies a couple years ago and they ended up dying. So we just never finished the brooder that we were gonna put them in. Well, we're gonna get that finished this week so that when they hatch, they have a place. This is our silky tractor. Like I said, we'd started it about 2 years ago, and our silkies were taken out one night by, I think, a mink. All of them were just called in the middle of the night. So we stopped working on this. What we need to do is put a door on, finish up. We were going to have the nesting boxes, put a roof on, paint the thing, and then wrap some chicken wire around it to keep predators out. But this will be the home for the silkies. And like I said, we'll get that finished up this week. We got all 5 of the new garden beds in. So all we need to do is put up the arch trellises, but that'll be in a couple of days. Nick's gonna put the garden fence all the way around to keep the chickens out because they think it's their job to get in here and till everything. But they've tilled it enough and the puppy doesn't need to dig in the garden beds anymore. So we are almost ready to plant. Get to be out grazing today. We got Sven over here. We've got him on his line just because he's a wanderer. He'll end up across the road. Well, I tell you what, it's one of those days where I can't decide if I need just a t-shirt on or a sweatshirt. The temperature out today is about 50 degrees, but it's windy and partly cloudy. So when the sun goes behind a cloud, it gets chilly, but then when the sun comes out, it gets nice and warm. Oh well, spring problems. Well, I'm out in the pasture and trying to brush the goats, and I found out that they don't want me coming at them if I'm standing, but if I sit down, they'll come to me, and it works out a lot better. So I want to teach you guys a little bit about the undercoat that a goat grows each year. It's almost like a lamb's wool, but it's not oily like wool is. It's super soft and a really thick underlayer, and just like dogs, when they shed, they will lose this underlayer of insulation. And what I like to do is brush it out when I see it being really loose on their coats. You can see it, it'll, just like a dog shedding, you'll start seeing the extra insulation layer, the undercoat of the goat. So what I do, instead of collecting it and throwing it away, I just leave it out in the pasture, and then that way birds will use this as nesting material. And so it's kind of like recycling. But we've gotten quite a collection so far, and that's just from one goat. As you can see here on Liesel, she needs brushed, but she is not about letting me brush her today. Every time I get close and try and reach my hand out, she runs away from me. So she's just gonna go a few more days.
Let's go back to that little place where we used to go in the summer days. We dip our feet at the water's edge, and everyone would come along to meet us there.
Well guys, that's pretty much it. Getting the garden finished up, getting things painted, brushing out goats. You know, normal Saturday around here. Thanks for hanging out with me today. We'll see you on the next video.
Our body's getting stronger, we can swim.